Welcome back to another episode of Digitalk Architects. Amir, welcome to our podcast. I'm excited about today and the conversation we're going to have. You work in investment attraction. You have a background working with companies like BMW. And then you decided to move into the agribusiness. And now you're building your own company, Neutralis. Please go ahead and tell us about your journey.
So, Carolina, thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, it's a really pleasure to be here and talk a little bit about the experience and principally the tough road that we have up to today. So, yes, I worked first in attractions of investments. I was responsible to bring big companies to the state of Santa Catarina. Santa Catarina is the state southern Brazil. It's a small state, although we have a good quality of life. Therefore, we were successful bringing big companies. And most important one in this road was BMW. Was a 2 year negotiation, and we established their first operation in South America in a city called Araquari, a small city north of the state. And 2 years later, after their establishment, they invited me to be responsible for social affairs and governmental relationships. There, I learned a lot, but there was something inside of me telling me to be an endeavor, try my own business. And I started that. The problem is COVID come out and wasn't successful at all. Everything was stopped. Everything was shut down. And for good luck, a friend of mine invited me to be his CFO in his company. The company was in the agro segment. Today they do a special calcareous limestone product to regulate the soil. There I fell in love with agro, left the company to establish my own, Neutralis as you mentioned, and now we are trying to do biostimulant for the crops. So for these 2 years, but a lot of work on doing that.
Very good. What part of that path from working with BMW, moving to agriculture, trying to start, failing, and now getting here has surprises you the most?
The first point, Carolina, is that we think when we will launch a new product or a new service is that just having a good product or service will be enough for us to succeed. And we don't think directly that the market or the people will have the same understanding that we have about it. So when I launched it, for me, it was so obvious that was a need for the market. And when the market received, I wasn't prepared for the answer. So this is the toughest part for sure in the process. After that, we need to understand our own ego in the process, because wasn't something that I have done before, and I saw the people doing it, and I thought it was so easy to do it. Although in this whole operation, we could see that, okay, it's not only my side that needs to be right. I need to understand my client very well. I need to put my product or service exactly where is needed, and not only where I thought was the best case scenario, let's say like this. So this is the toughest part in the process. And
Very
learning,
good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and learning this even today, it's very, very tough, because we know that we will bring it back to the customer good things. And even today, we are yet being stressed to convince our clients in doing that.
Yeah. Your experience, so that's the kind of like the hard part of starting your business, right? But let's go back a little bit because I want to tie up that your experience with BMW and what that was like for you, right? Like, what did that teach you, and how did that motivate you to start your own business, even the one that failed, right? Because it's you're talking about business, government, partnerships, right? Long-term strategy when you're working with bigger companies like BMW.
Yeah. The BMW for me, it's for sure a huge experience. Even though I worked not inside but directly with other companies, I saw how they are good doing the procedures. What I mean is that everything inside BMW was thought, was planned, and then executed. Therefore, the results were very good mostly, but I could see that we lost a lot of opportunities in the way just because we lost time on that, because the decision making was far away from the problem happening. And this, for one side, was really tough for me because I'm very agitated, I'm very urgent related, and was something, okay, I have no control to do that because there is, first of all, my boss need to approve. Later on, there is a council that needs to approve. Later on, German, depending, of course, of the size of this decision, must approve. So it was first a very good learning process, meaning that every time there is more people involved, there is a mitigation of bad results, but also there is a mitigation of exceptional results. So because the exceptional mostly are different for what is happening. So this was something that a big light in my head appeared. Okay, if I'm by myself, I'm sure I will have bigger problems, but maybe I can find a solution and move faster. So I could see directly that why big companies are called mammoths, that they need a lot of time to move, but when they move constantly and fluently, let's say like this. And when and personally, I was tied. So I was just a small piece of the process and I wanted to do more. I wanted to, let's say, talk with different matters, not only what responded to my area. I was looking forward to understand what the client want, why BMW was at that moment better or worse than Daimler or Audi. Uh, I felt the urge to look for more in that. So that's why I shifted. I said, okay, I have, and also BMW taught me a lot of about mobility, and I could see that the market would go to in this direction. That at the moment was everyone thought that the cars wouldn't be sold anymore, but rent for like a kilometer or a mile. And I thought, okay, if I go ahead right now, maybe I have this big opportunity. And we could see that wasn't exactly that, or the timing was perfect at the moment. So, in my opinion, what shifted in my mind directly, not my opinion, what happened is I want to do more. I don't want to be close in one department. I want to have more in my hands. Let's say like this.
Very good. Okay, so you went from BMW to this new adventure with a partner, right? That's the transition, right? You went,
The
or
first
did you go from BMW straight to trying to start your own company?
That's it. Yeah. What I
Okay,
thought was Uber was coming very fast. There was a big discussion about it, but as anywhere in the world because of taxes and whatever. But the everybody thought that and know right now that Uber will be something very big, and here in Brazil was this big hype. And I thought, okay, uh, I know the rentals, so big companies that rent cars in Brazil, they are not prepared to rent cars for Uber because they are, let's say, the toughest clients. They put miles on the cars. They don't treat the car very well. So let's rent some find a way to rent cars to Ubers. And I thought, okay, the garage are with their garage full of cars. Maybe instead of selling in 1 month, they put the cars in 3, 4, 5 months there, and they upscales their revenue by doing that. And was at the moment a very good idea. But the problem is the cars that are sold to Ubers, they are very fast selling cars, and so it wasn't impossible to do. Nobody wanted to provide me the cars for me to rent for the Ubers. So that's why, in my opinion, the business failed. And of course, COVID was there, so nobody was selling cars, but everybody was afraid of leaving cars on the street and whatever. So this was the first, let's say, fail in the process. Just after that,
okay.
I thought, okay, let's do something else. I still have a very good friend of mine that was working with selling houses, so a broker, and he mentioned, Amir, my neighborhood here, where I sell, there is a lot of moving. Let's do an app that makes Uber for mobility, for moving house. So instead of the guy asking for a truck or something like that, we provide the whole facility by just an app. And at the moment, again, was really, really nice. The problem is we have the things of the people in control, and in Brazil is not that easy. So I faced so many problems, night without sleep, because the truck was out of communication. And how could I explain for the owner of the goods where it was it? So again, I say this is not a good business, at least for me, and we stopped doing that. So
Okay, and that's when you went and became the CFO for the agribusiness company, right?
that's it. And at this moment, I started speaking again with this friend, and he was the agribusiness in 2022 was very big in Brazil, and they were growing really, really fast, like exponentially, and they needed resources, money directly into the company in order to sustain this growth. And he asked me to prepare the document and prepare a project that could go into the bank, and the bank approving, because it wasn't only for money, was for expansion, building a new factory, and all the process that this requires. So we start this conversation 6 months on it, making a very good business plan, a very good project. Remember that at this time we didn't have any kind of AI in the system, so was really writing it, studying it, looking for the laws exactly to be supported. And the bank, probably the biggest bank in South America, approved it. But they requested for this position, for this money to be released, that the company established a new governance, and with this governance had a CFO in the process. And because of my experience with BMW, by the governance that we have and everything in place and all the parameters and the covenants being already established, they invited me to be the CFO in the company, and we structured the whole company to be prepared to receive this kind of money. So we established a governance. We put in place a controller, somebody in charge of finance, somebody in charge of a human resource, was the host re-infrastructure, the real structure of the company at the point. We hired something around 20 people to do that. For a company that used to have only 20, was really the double of the operation. Even though they were very profitable, they needed more structure to be reliable by the bank.
Okay, let's talk about Neutralis and your experience now, because now you move into agriculture with background in, a bunch of different business stuff. And now you're fully an entrepreneur, right?
That's it.
Your own company. What, put Neutralis in simple terms so that, how do you explain it to just a normal person?
Sure. What we do, we provide biostimulants for plants. So instead of, because agriculture is growing pretty, it's being studied a lot. The plants are feed, they are water, they have the equilibrium. What we are doing, we are putting the extra, as for instance, the big bodybuilders, they need addition to grow better. We are doing that, but with 100 organic products. So we are providing feed hormones, amino acids for the plants, for them to grow better, and also to produce more in the same acre that they are producing nowadays. We don't need to cut any other tree in order to produce more.
Very good. Okay, so now you have this new business that, how long have you been running Neutralis now?
Exactly 2 years. So from August
Exactly 2 years.
2024 up to today, yeah.
What has been that journey like?
Was, and it is very tough. As I spoke in my opening, we have a product that produces at least 6 bags of soy for each hectare that we apply it. There is a ROI, a return over investment, that at least 4 times the investment. Although we need to convince the producer, the the farmer to use it. And even though they don't believe it, every time when we do a test or something like that, they say that, but can be these other magic product that we applied 10 times before and never haven't any success, but your product is maybe not the result, the one that made the result. And so this is very tough. Although I have a partner in this operation that is extremely hands-on, works a lot and makes me work even more. And we are like growing a lot together. This is very important because I do the strategic part, but somebody needs to make it happen. And he's a very good partner on that. So I'm very glad to have found him in this journey and be together with him to make this business grow. And we are growing. So this is the most important part.
Okay. All right. So let's make the connections, right? So we talked about your trajectory, getting the new business now 2 years old. You know, the challenges that's brought to you and your partner. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're building a company, and let's talk about, you know, where are you at today as a company? How big is the company? And then let's connect that with, you know, when we first met, we talked about, technology in the agri field, and I know you talked about how nowadays you are using technology and AI to help you run a lean company per se.
So if I compare like the company that I had 5 years ago, that was not scale, not growing, but anyway, the effort that I had to make small changes was so tough. For instance, to build up the logo, the website, all the operational process and etc. was so demanding that this took already a very long time just to put up, to build something and to start the whole company was very, very tough. With AI, what we try to do, even though nowadays we are working with around 10 people directly. So people in the production, people selling, and of course, administration. If we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm sure I would have to have at least the double of headcounts to make this process doable. So with AI, we are able to like move so fast and change so fast what we expect. So for instance, just today, I changed the whole script of interaction with the clients by like 1 hour of let's say talking with the AI, discussing, if we do this and that. And for sure, this would take at least 1 month to make it possible in the 5 years ago. Therefore, if we are growing, we have 10 people now, we should have 20 without AI. The whole technology is not only in AI, we are able using AI like to discover new ways to do our products even better, faster, or with less cost. So the connection of AI, it's like having maybe 5, 10 different people working around with very deep knowledge on it and make us feasible to really do what we have to do, like concentrate and focus only on what's important, which is sell 24 hours a day.
Very
I
good.
don't make myself clear, but like we have the AI going into like new products. We have AI helping us selling, like providing the scripts. We have AI in the financial part, doing conciliation, doing like reports and whatever. And everything combines, letting us think more and just doing the tasks that are really needed in the moment.
I see. Okay, so what of all those things you talk about using technology, AI in a small business, right? What still needs a human touch that you think, in your opinion, you're not willing to relegate just yet to and fully let the AI do?
First of all, it's really talking with the client directly because AI doesn't have the flexibility of the culture, in my opinion. If we are talking with different customer categories, let's say like this, it's very tough for AI to change the way that they are prepared to talk. So let's
Right.
just give an example. If we are talking with a big company that we would like to offer our products as part of their products in the end, we need to have one kind of speech and principally one way to talk with the buyer, because maybe it's the buyer, maybe it's the research and development guy or somebody inside. But when we are talking with a very small farmer that is producing, I don't know, like 10,000 square meters, 10,000 acres, I don't know exactly, 10,000 acres, which is a small producer here in Brazil, we need to have a different approach and different interface in that. So we cannot delegate right now AI to do it, even though we are preparing it, but it's not the moment. And also at the end, we need to have the control of the company, because there is several times that to make the process happen, AI makes a big, let's say, travel all around that they could go like in an easy path. Another example to do that, I asked AI to provide me a document, explicit document just for me to control the financial. And they asked for access in the bank, but I said everything is already on the system. I understood. I thought, like something very easy to do. They are not completely clear in the whole path that they need to follow on. So these I will delegate right now. I would use, and a very good comparison is that I would use AI as or intern or a basic junior analyst. I would not put them in charge of the people, for instance.
Got it. Okay. And I mean, you know what? Honestly, that makes sense. That's I think how most people feel about it now, right?
Mhm.
It's good to do. I mean, it can do a lot, but it's definitely not, a senior
That's it. Yeah.
expert, right? Do you think for small companies using AI, it helps them move faster than larger competitors?
Yeah, I really do, because if we think like compare again with my past company to this one, my website, for example, I made it, I put it online, and with AI, I can change every time I change a little bit of my perspective.
100%.
And this is very easy to do it. I just send a
Mhm.
command saying change this phrase, that and that. But if the owner of the company from the past, let's say like this, would like to do it, or he would have to have the ability to go inside the system, changing it by manually changing it, or pay somebody to do it. And right now we don't need it. We pay one AI once and we can do a lot of different things. Also, we can have information that we weren't able to have it without, for example, a CFO, because you can ask, oh, look, I have all this information, all this data. Please provide me maybe the how lucrative my company is right now. And like 10 years ago, if you don't have the knowledge or you are focusing something else, you should stop to do it. And right now, just in a click of the button, you have the ability to receive this kind of information. And information is very important to make decisions, of course.
Okay, let's do our, our new section, rapid fire section.
Very good. Let's go.
Let's go. So, in one word, describe entrepreneurship for you.
Resilience, for sure. We need to be resilient all the time, because there is good and bad, and we must be resilient. Principally in Brazil, remember that Brazil is the second worst place in the world to make business.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Biggest red flag in a startup.
Think that your product is the most important thing, the client is.
Very good. Most underrated skill for founders.
Hands on, probably. Like somebody that really doesn't matter, do the work.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say patience.
Yeah, I thought about pensions, but for a startup, sometimes you need to have the hurry sense, you know? Like I really thought about pensions.
Resilience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Science or sales? Which one is harder?
Oh, for sure, sales. Science, we have the
Sales?
information of it. Yeah, the information we have available everywhere. We can search. It's, what I think about this, Caroline, is like everything is under our control that we can make the decision is easier that makes someone else to make the decision. So still somebody else needs to take a decision for you, like saying yes. But science, we can approve it, we can go, we can invest. So it's something that we can change. Our product, we can change. The financial like aspects, paying someone or paying more or less is our decision. Every time that the decision comes from someone else, it's harder than ourselves, in my opinion.
Very good. Okay. North American expansion in one word.
The desire, the dream,
All right. AI for small businesses. Overhyped or useful?
useful,
Good.
uh, very useful.
Best business lessons from BMW.
Governance, like process for sure.
What should a founder never delegate completely?
I would say strategy, but I would say like being present, maybe. When I say
Okay.
present, it's understood, but the strategy, of course, because we know where we're going to go. And for everybody else to move together with us, we must be present. So they need to see us moving in the same direction that everybody else is. You are winning that everybody else is going.
All right. Okay. Here's a tough one. Sustainability or productivity? Choose one. Or how can we have both?
I cannot, because sustainability, everybody thinks about the green, but sustainability at the very basic point comes from three aspects: economic, governance, and really green. So without productivity, you cannot have sustainability, in my opinion. So I would say sustainability in the core business of the sustainability. If you are not profitable, you are not sustainable. You will fail because the money will not come. The people will not work in the process or work for you. So sustainability in the whole, like really core of it.
Good. All right. Your advice to your younger self.
Do it. Do not wait. Do not think that everybody else will come. There is a big plan for you. No, the plan comes together with you doing it. Like I always thought that no, I will be hired for, or I will, the big idea will come in my lap at any moment. No, like you need to do it. Like trying, stress, like unicorns or first business, big money flow coming. It's rare, really hard, really rare. The big endeavors in the like big guys in the market really work their butts off. So do it. It's not, you not be rich at 21 without working a lot, without like a lot of effort. You need to like work a lot for a long time to be resilient longer. I thought only like something would come and I would be rich without doing that much because I was special. No one's special. You need to work on that.
One habit that helped you as CEO or that still helps you as CEO.
Talking with clients, understand their needs, like listen to them.
Listening. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but listening
All
to
right.
important, yeah, decision makers.
Very good. Last, what do you want Neutralis to be known for?
Number one biostimulant company in the whole world. I know it's tough, but it's really the vision. Like knowing that if you want to get the extra from your crop, you can, Neutralis will be there.
Okay. Now, this or that. Big company or startup?
A big company. I'm making
Brazilian market
Neutralis.
or US market?
I don't know very well the US market, but I feel it's better. My feeling that pay better than Brazil. So
Strategy
US.
or execution?
Tough because there is no one without the other, but I would say strategy.
Okay. Product innovation or market education?
Market allocation. It's tough for me. I'm an engineer saying that, but my experience flipped me from product to marketing.
The next one is tough. AI
Uh,
automations or human relationships?
ah, Depending on the level, but for right now, AI, but for sure, like growing the company, I will need to put like the right human in places, not AI anymore. AI, as I
More,
mentioned, is the analyst. People is the thinkers, but they
all
will
right.
have to use AI.
I agree. All right. More inputs versus smarter inputs.
Smarter for sure. Always smarter.
Yeah,
Quality over, yeah,
I'm there with you. Yeah, definitely.
quality over quantity.
Faster growth or sustainable growth?
I would say growing fast sustainably, meaning that without growing fast, a startup cannot exist, but we must have a very good background, like a solid background. So I would say sustainable because one mistake can break the company, can bankrupt the company. Therefore, it's better to go sustainable.
Technical proof or customer story?
Customer story. Everybody is buying what other people is buying, not because the product is good, but because it's tested by someone else, principally in the agro segment.
I agree. Founder instinct or financial model? That one is hard.
Yeah, because my background, say financial, I was a CFO, but I saw a lot of things going very well by the instinct. I would say just I have to answer, so I would say financial, but in practice, sometimes I do instinct instead of.
I think you're right. It's kind of in the middle. It's a balance of both.
Yeah, I think so because even though sometimes the plan is perfect, without the core, without the heart in the operation, doesn't work. So the instinct must be together, saying that this is gonna work anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Last one. Local
No.
success or global expansion?
To be sustainable, I think we need to be global because the market changes every time, and somewhere
Mhm.
else there is a good opportunity. So we need to be global.
All right. Last but not least, founder lesson of the day. Ready?
Sure.
For any founder or business owner listening right now, even if it's outside agriculture, because your
Perfect.
background is not just agriculture, what is the one lesson from your journey that they can apply to their own business?
Again, your product is not the most important thing in the world. Doesn't matter how good it is. What is important is the pain that you are curing. So doesn't matter the segment, somebody will buy your product or use your service only because their own needs. It's not because of you. It's because of what they need. And understanding that, you are able to make a more connected product, make better decisions. So 100% saying that understand what your customer is willing to pay for.
So, if you had the chance to help another founder, what mistake would you tell them to avoid?
Prepare your product before talk with your customer. Like there is a lot of people doing a very beautiful presentation with all the details, everything explained. At the end, they are explaining their own doubts and not what the customer is willing to pay for. So the first step is I have an idea, test it out. NDA is important, yeah, but not in this place. I like a guy very much. I forgot his name. He's multiple. He made a lot of different startups, and the first thing that he's doing to launch a startup is pre-sales. Like he inquires everybody that, look, I have this opportunity. Are you willing to buy for 10% of the price? Waiting list. That's the name, the process that he's doing, a waiting list. If there is customer on it, he's doing the project. If they are not, it's not important. He move forward and do whatever else. What else?
Very good. What should technical founders understand about communication in marketing from your experience?
Like technical founders, normally they want to present the product as I mentioned several times before, as the most important part of the whole sale. And if you're doing something to sell to someone, the product, the service, or the whole company. And what you need to understand is what the guys are, the other side of the table is willing to pay for. So if you are too technical, lower your expectation about the product and ask your potential client what he is expecting for. Because there is a lot of time that I've seen, and even in big corporation, we saw that we prepare too much for something that nobody is willing to do it or pay for it. So talk with the other side of the table. Oh, but the guy doesn't know anything. Yes, he knows. He knows that if you have something that he's willing to pay for, he will pay. So there is big saying in the market, Steve Jobs say that we need to do something that the customer doesn't know yet he wants to. This is out of the whole picture. It's one in a million because nobody else has the whole structure that Steve Jobs had to do it. You as a small endeavor, you need to ask your client.
Fantastic. Well, Amir, thank you so much for joining me today. I think your story is great. It reminds us that innovation is not just about creating a better product, that understanding market and proven results and educating people builds trust over time and obviously serves the market better. For anyone listening, thank you so much, and we'll love to have you on the next one.
Carolina, it's me that thank you. It was really nice,
We'll
really a
see
pleasure.
you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime, just call me. I'll be glad to come back. Was really a nice experience. Thank you. Congratulations on your platform. It's something really hard to do it and to be resilient making it. So I'm sure it
Thank you.
will be a big, and I hope it's going to be a big podcast. And it is already because we are talking with people from the future and I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you. Bye.